Hey, Chris, where do sharks go on summer vacation?
Where?
Finland. Boom, 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 boom.
Do I look in the camera? Do I not look in the camera?
Just look in the camera. It's what you're watching time.
Hey, out there in TV land. It's What You're Watching. Welcome to What You're Watching, presented by Geeky at Go-Go, a show where we dive into what's currently on our screens. Big screens or little screens, size matter not here, just the quality or lack of our cues. I'm Chris Nitro, and joining me today on location in Scotch Plains, New Jersey, beautiful Scotch Plains, New Jersey, Scotchwood Diner, is Anthony Pizzuto.
Well, hi, Chris. Hi, everyone.
Hello, sir.
It's. I think this is the first time we've actually done a recorded episode on camera in a
Live,
diner.
yeah.
Yeah,
Live.
Yeah. This is fun.
Yep.
This is cool. Do we like our angles? It's kind of hard to tell. The screen's very
I
tiny.
look like crap no matter what.
I do too. My moobs are on proud display right now. I've been working on them. I need to do some more push-ups. I've accepted my dad bod. I've just kind of given up. I have zero sex appeal.
That's not true. You're still married.
Well, that is true. She hasn't left me yet, but it'll happen. It'll happen soon. She's gonna be like, "Nope, I'm done.
You went too far.
I'm leaving you for a yeah, exactly." the 25-year-old version of yourself. She'd never do that. You wouldn't do that, would you, honey? No, she wouldn't do that. I don't know if she watches this. Speaking of video, did you like the intro?
Yes, I did. You said we were going to do, you did something fancy, and I listened to the podcast, and I was like, what's he talking about? There's nothing, it's the podcast. There's nothing crazy about it. And I was like, maybe he needs something in the video. And then I went to watch the video, and I was like, ooh, shiny.
Yeah, okay,
So
good.
Definitely nice. I recommend that.
Oh, good. Okay. I feel like I've achieved a great, like I've climbed a great mountain when I've impressed you. So, so I'm very happy to hear that you like that. Check out our last episode of Geeky a Go-Go, where we did we talked about our favorite geeky travel tips, and I'm experimenting with intros, and Chris here really liked it. So, Chris, how's your week been?
Eventful. Started with work, and then just turned into this fiasco that I had to travel down to Leesburg, Virginia for work. And it was a surprise that we had to do this short notice, but we tried to make a bunch of people's schedules line up, and we did it, and came back last night. Yeah, and
Nice.
we did what we had to do and moved on, and now we're just waiting on the results, and we'll see what happens from there.
I just Googled what is Leesburg, Virginia known for, because I feel like I've heard of it, but I'm not fully aware of it. And apparently it's home to the world-famous Stephen Udvar Hazy Air and Space Museum. Did you get a chance to
I did
explore
not.
that while you were out?
That's very close to Dulles Airport, which I'm assuming is in Dulles, Virginia. I could be wrong. But yes, no, knowing that I was that close to that location and not being able to go down there, I was like, geez.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it was just work. Had to get down there super fast.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Oh my God, is that like craft cheese? That's amazing. I can hear the plastic being.
I can't remember the last time I had Kraft.
No, I can't either.
Ever since I got married, my wife was like, nope, Land O'Lakes or nothing.
Ooh.
Deli cut Land O'Lakes or
Ooh,
nothing.
okay. Fancy cheeses at the Nitro household.
My favorite is a Munster, so
Munster. Okay.
I don't think you could buy Munster pre-packaged. Or like, individually wrapped Munster slices.
Yeah. When we were in Spain, Daria got this cheese, and I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a known cheese. It wasn't like, what is that?
Manchego.
Maybe
I'm
I
just
don't know.
naming Spanish
Just
cheeses.
name Spanish cheeses.
Monterey
Anyway,
Jack, which is an American cheese.
but this so and this is going to be so great, especially as we're about to start eating. But you know when when an animal dies in your backyard and you can smell like the rotting.
Nope.
You've never experienced this.
Nope.
Okay, well
Nope.
we have. Unfortunately, we had a deer die in our backyard, and it was the most vile smell I've ever smelled.
Oh, wow.
This cheese smelled and tasted like the smell. Oh yeah,
yeah.
but apparently it was like the cheese to get. I'm like, I'm not into the stinky cheeses. I like my basic
Is it? I didn't know that.
mozzarella.
I didn't know the Spaniards were ironic like the French. This is what we tell all the tourists, so we don't have to eat it.
We have a surplus of this cheese that we do not like. It is going on special. Are we going to be canceled?
Yes.
Last week I was insulting the Italian
Yeah, but I think
accent.
I think the French take pride in that.
They do,
That
yeah.
just, you know what? Screw all of you.
Screw all of you. My new neighbor who moved in across the street, she's from Montreal, and she is in Montreal is very French speaking.
Yeah.
It's on that side of the Canada, and yeah, she has a very thick French accent.
Cool.
Yes,
Exciting.
very exciting. Yes, we're bringing some culture to my avenue, so that's great.
New Jersey is the armpit of culture, okay?
The armpit of culture. New Jersey gets a bad rap.
Of course.
We could probably do a whole episode on. Well, there's nothing geeky about giving New Jersey a bad rap. We could do a New Jersey episode on all the great films and television shows.
Oh, absolutely. We
And
could do that.
talent that have come from New Jersey.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
We could do that.
so make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can hear us talk about all those great things.
Cool. Yeah. Did you have anything going on special?
I wasn't traveling this week, which was nice. Got to go up to the office and see my day job office, which is always a treat because I travel so much. But no, it was a relatively low key week, productive. I have some tree work going on at the house right now. The city is we had some dead trees on the city side of our property, and so they're taking care of that right now. So it looks like a construction war zone over there. The whole street's blocked off.
I hate when they do that. They just, I understand the safety of it, but like, you just needed to block a little bit of it, and they block the entire street. They block cop cars on both ends. They cone it
sure.
off. There's a guy with a flag. And
Oh yeah, and everyone's like, "What's going on
Yeah.
down there? Or what major travesty has happened on this avenue?" So no, yeah, just trying to like catch up with all the things I haven't been able to catch up on. Yeah, but it's been pretty low key.
Cool.
The kids are winding down. I think I talked about this last time. Daria's at the beach today because her school was closed. Berkeley
Yep.
Heights is closed today. So,
And Monday and Tuesday.
wow, that's a long weekend.
Well, we gave back snow days.
Yeah, we're closed. Our school district's closed Monday and Tuesday. So,
Okay.
yeah, cool.
Cool. So, Anthony, diving into the show, what you watching?
Ooh, okay. What you watching? So I have a whole long list, but we're gonna keep it to our two today, even though we're down a guy. So the first thing that's on my list is Wonka.
They say that the very best chocolate comes from the Gallery Gourmet.
We should go, Emma.
When you're older,
Come with me. Good luck, Willie! And you'll be. Here we go, Mama.
every good thing
In a world
started with a dream.
of pure
And when you do share chocolate with the world,
imagination.
I'll be right there beside you.
Wonka, rated PG, only in theaters December 15th.
2023's holiday musical, even though it's not a holiday music, but I feel like December is when like the musicals come out, like The Greatest Showman or La La Land.
Feel good movies.
Feel good, yeah. So I'm late to the Wonka party. I am a fan of the original Wonka, or Charlie and Chocolate Factory.
Hands down, cannot touch that film.
No, you can't. And it's a classic film. When we talked in December of 23, when you and the fam went to go see it, I asked you the question, is it like a musical? And you said, well, do you think that the original is a musical? And I said, no. He's like, it's like that kind of musical. We're going to go back to the footage and I'm going to find that conversation. dude, this is a musical. It is like it's like an operetta. Like there is so much music in this movie. Like
But
so
the
much.
original had the same.
No, it did not.
Yes, it did.
There was
musical sequences.
there were a couple musical sequences, but like this. So okay, let's pull up the soundtrack. So Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. Chocolate Factory soundtrack, 1971. Wow, that was 1971. I'm sorry, Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was the Johnny Depp movie, and I actually only saw that once. I don't remember it being
It's,
spectacular.
you have to. I'm pretty sure it was a Tim Burton film.
It was a Tim Burton film, yeah.
Then you have to have like the weird, like really like the weird. It is Tim Burton.
All right, so there's 24 tracks on the Wonka soundtrack. There's 16 on the Willy Wonka soundtrack from '71. But when you think of this is also inclusive of orchestration, and instrumental music. So like the background.
So it's not.
It's not like
it's a
lyrical.
Score,
Yeah.
There's score and soundtrack. So this is all encompassing.
All encompassing, yeah.
Okay.
Now, the songs from '71, you have The Candyman, you have Pure Imagination, I Want It Now, I've Got a Golden Ticket, and 4 Oompa Loompa songs. So that was 8 out of 16. So 50% of that soundtrack is lyrical.
Okay.
I couldn't tell you how many of the 24 Wonka soundtrack things were lyrical, but I feel like it was a lot. I felt like it was a lot. Anyway, so there's that. I felt like the '71 Willy Wonka, there was a sense of, you didn't know where it took place. Like there was no geography to it. Some would probably say it was maybe Great Britain because a lot of people had English accents, but Charlie Bucket didn't have an English accent. So I think they did that purposefully to keep it kind of like it's wherever your imagination wants this to be. Mm-hmm. But there was a reality to it. I feel like everything in Wonka, and what would have been an interesting play, and I'll get to that in a second, I feel like everything in Wonka was fantasy. There was no grounding in reality.
No argument there.
Yeah.
But a lot of it was special effects and this and that.
Totally. But like I had no feeling that I was in a place that I could actually go compared to Willy Wonka in '71.
I think that's a limitation in technology. Like they may have wanted you be in that weird, non-reality place, but what could you do? It's literally just acting in sets.
Yeah. That's fair.
If you extrapolate it to, we said '71, so 6 years later we get Star Wars, and they literally had to make things.
Oh yeah.
To create that environment.
It says that Roald Dahl was one of the writers, according to IMDb. Paul King, I'm not familiar with his work. He's the director of the film. Paul King also he was a director on Space Force. Interesting. Director of Paddington 2 and Paddington 1. He was a director on The Mighty Boosh. Have you ever seen that?
No.
That's ridiculous BBC sketch comedy type of show. Okay, so he has some big kid, directorial background. Timothée, the brand new cherry flavor of Hollywood. Although he's been around for a while. Look, he is very talented, very believable as Wonka. This showed his diversity. I think he was great in it.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he was wonderful. He captured that childlike wonder of Wonka. He was not imitating Gene Wilder at all. He created his own thing. I thought he did a great job. And I think more importantly, just to Hollywood in general, he continues to show his versatility as an actor. From Dune. Paul Atreides in Dune to Willy Wonka and Wonka to, I forget the character's name in Skin and Bones or whatever that movie was called, which was a really good movie. He's just a very, very talented actor, and I wish him nothing but the best. But just the film in general, it was too campy, too kiddie. If I hadn't seen the original Willy Wonka, maybe I'm coming into it with some preconceived notions, but I just felt it was too far of a stretch of reality for me, or too much of a suspension of disbelief. Like the cop, who kept on taking bribes of chocolate. Like, first of all, like, no, not real. And I know this is also a kid's movie, but no, that's not a thing. And like it blows up.
I mean, if you think about it, right? Have you read any of the Roald Dahl
Yeah,
books?
I read. I actually directed a theatrical production of Willy Wonka.
Okay.
Long time ago.
There are many like super fantastical things
Sure.
in Roald Dahl books. The glass elevator in the Wonkaverse. Matilda basically being a witch, or a good witch. I don't know what you want to call her.
The Witches.
Right. James and the Giant Peach is Roald Dahl, right?
I believe so. Yeah. BFG.
So it's just outrageously imaginative things.
Sure.
Right. And to your point, the original Wonka, I don't think had the ability to capture that at the time in
That's
cinema.
fair.
Right. Or maybe just the budget. Might be a budgetary constraint. It could have been like a thing where like, oh, well, we're not going to drop all our money in this production, and then all of a sudden the people are just like, I'd rather just read the book and use my own imagination.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays people can recreate that imagination. Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying.
But it's so I'm looking at now the. So before I read that, so one thing that I thought would have been an interesting way to reground it in the reality that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory set up for us is if like we find out that all of this is in Wonka's imagination. And I know that's kind of a trope that's been used plenty of times. What's that TV series, St. Elmo's Fire, maybe, or where it ends up they're like all in a
Lost?
no, well, Lost, yes, definitely Lost. But what's the one where it ends up being this little kid's snow globe, and like the entire series was like just this kid's imagination, and he's looking at the snow globe. I feel like it was a hospital or something. Anyway, but like they've used that trope before to like pretty much throw away the entire film and say, look, this is actually not it.
Right.
But I thought it would have been an interesting kind of twist to be like, oh, this is all in Wonka's imagination, and that feeds the Wonka factory that he creates, and like his childlike imagination and how he sees the world in song and bright colors, and just in pure magic is what drove him to be a Candyman, and a candy maker. I thought that could have been an interesting twist, but it's a kids movie, and it's clearly a kids movie. You couldn't do that without really insulting the intelligence of children. So the critics' consensus, so on Rotten Tomatoes, it has an 82% fresh on the tomato meter and a 91% audience score. The critics' consensus is, with Paul King at the helm and some solid new songs, the warmly old-fashioned Wonka puts a suitable sweet spin on the classic character while still leaving some room for the source material's darker undertones. Okay, I guess. Audience says, as long as you go in ready to take it on its own terms, Wonka is a funny, heartwarming musical that dreams up a new origin story for a classic character. And that's where I'm not taking it on its own terms. I'm wrapping it into the universe, and that's where it's kind of throwing things out for me. So in terms of Disco Balls, I'm going to give it, only because Scrub got stuck in my head for like a week and a half, I'm going to give it 3 out of 5.
That's fun.
Yeah, 3 out of 5. When you take it out of the universe, it's a fine kids film. A few memorable, yet elementary musical numbers, but it is colorful. It's imaginative, and I think it does spark an imaginative curiosity. So 3 Disco Balls.
Cool.
Yeah,
Good.
Did you ever give Disco Balls to Wonka when you first saw it? I don't remember.
Were we doing? I think we were. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure I did.
I'm gonna go back to the tape.
Okay.
All right. So, Chris, what are you watching?
I don't know why I watched this, but I did. I put it on my queue. It is. I don't even know how to explain it. Like it's a holiday film, kind of, only because of the setting. I think. No, it's during the holidays as well. So the film is called "There's Something in the Barn."
Welcome to Norway. I can't believe we inherited this place.
Middle of nowhere?
There's something in the barn.
What do you mean something?
That's a barn elf.
What on earth did you do to make them so mad?
We broke all the rules.
You're in Norway. Nothing bad ever happens.
Okay. It when you first look at the stills or the trailers, or whatever, it looks like a horror film, but it's like super campy horror film, right? So the tagline on IMDb, which doesn't do it justice at all, is an American family fulfills their dream of moving back after inheriting a remote cabin in the mountains of Norway. I don't understand what that means. Moving back to where? Like, these are Americans that moved to Norway. Someone messed up when they did their copy.
Good job, IMDb.
Yeah. So, in essence, what it is, and why I decided to watch it is because of Martin Starr, right? Martin Starr is hilarious in anything that he's in. I don't know if he's really a comedian or he's just a comedic actor, but whatever he shows up in, I'm like, this is going to be funny. Whatever he's doing is going to be funny. So he's great. And the premise of the movie is this man inherits property in Norway from his great uncle or something to that effect, and takes his family and moves them to Norway for a fresh start. And you could tell he kind of has a young wife. I don't know if that was purposeful or the woman just looks young. But he has older children. Older meaning north of 8 or something like that. I don't remember exactly how the ages were. But one is definitely a teenager. And you come to find out that he was a widower, right?
Okay.
So his children are kind of like, or at least his older child, the daughter, was kind of coming to terms of like having a stepmom and being in a new country and away from her friends and X, Y, and Z. But the younger son ends up seeing this thing in a barn. They have this huge barn that ends up being like, I think they call it a barn gnome. Or barn elf. I don't remember the exact term.
Okay.
But it's a little person, barn dwarf, who is magical. It's a magical creature. And they start getting into the like Norse mythology of or superstition of like what day means if you have one, and, how do you get rid of one, and this and that and the other thing, and they do all the wrong things, right? Because only the little boy can see this gnome, and he keeps saying like we have to do this and we have to do this, and there's like an expert in town who has like a gnome museum, which is literally just like a big diorama of like little houses, a life-size diorama of like little houses that gnomes would live in. And it's kitschy, and it takes place during the holidays, and it's like there's snow everywhere, and they try to set up Christmas lights, and like one of the rules that the guy tells him is like just don't have bright lights everywhere, and his family literally decks out like I do, where they just put inflatables and lights and this and everything, and the son is like mortified. He's like, what are you doing? Like this is the exact opposite. Do not piss off them. And they're like, what are you talking about? Like you're being imaginative. Go away. But then it's like they piss him off so much that he starts attacking them.
Oh, wow. In like a funny way, or is like horror movie way?
Like
Okay.
horror movie way.
Really?
Yeah, there's blood and people die, and,
Mm.
and I'm like, whoa. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's just, I mean, it's stereotypical. It's, you know, these things are going to happen. Nothing
Right.
is a shock. It's not gory,
Yeah.
you know, although there might be a little bit of gory deaths, but you don't really see the gore, is what I'm saying.
Okay.
But yeah,
How's everything?
very, very
Good,
good. Thank you
thank
so
you.
much. So they just go back and forth, and the sheriff shows up, then the sheriff dies, and you know, there's like no help, and they have to save themselves basically, and they end up in the forest, and they escape the dwarves, and at some point they blow up the barn,
Well, of course.
Yeah.
I mean,
and then it's like, oh, okay, we're gonna have a truce.
oh my God.
And yeah, so it yeah, the movie ends. It was like, thank God.
It's one of those
one
that
of
you
those.
can't wait for it to end.
Yeah.
Okay. Got it. Now, where can you stream this?
This is on Netflix.
On Netflix. Okay.
It was, I mean, whatever. If you want to watch, I know you like holiday horror films.
I sure do.
It may be underwhelming for you because I know how much you like them, but I think you also like don't care. I mean, it's definitely worth a watch for Martin Starr
Okay.
at a minimum.
Now, have you looked at the tomato scores?
I have not.
All right, brace yourself. 80% on the tomato meter,
Okay.
53% audience score.
Okay.
There's no consensus from either. But Kevin Maher from the Times UK says Little People horrors have worked before. Don't Look Now, Orphan, but this is toothless. Okay. All right. Matthew R. from an audience review. Terrible acting, terrible story, terrible effects. It's trying too hard, to not spelled correctly, to be a cult classic when it fails to entertain an idea of satire or comedy. The writing is bad and there isn't even gory. Okay. It's a Christmas Vacation meets ... He gave it a 0.5 star.
I think Martin Starr deserves more than that.
Yeah.
Not much more than that. I mean, final verdict for me, I'll give it 2 disco balls.
Mm-hmm.
It is a holiday film. It is a horror film. It's not super anything in particular.
Yeah.
I kind of agree with that, you know, National Lampoon's thing, but it's not. I feel like National Lampoon's film is kind of like a journey type of film, whereas this is definitely not, other than the fact that they moved from America to Norway.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I know you'll put it on the list at some point,
Oh, yeah.
and you know, it's a short film. There's nothing to gain from watching this. But yeah, that's it. 2 disco balls for me.
Wow, 2 disco balls. Okay.
Yep.
Cool.
I'll get and kicking it back to you. What else have you been watching?
I watched this on an airplane, and I was sitting in a middle seat because it was a last-minute booking. Unfortunately, it was an aisle, exit row seat, so at least I was able to move around. And I think I annoyed my seatmate so much because of my chuckling and laughing for the 2-hour flight from LA or San Diego to Denver. But this is Unfrosted on Netflix.
Ground control, we are go for launch.
T-minus 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. Liftoff.
I believe we have split the atom of breakfast.
In the early 1960s, the American morning was defined by milk and cereal. And the 2 undisputed giants of the cereal world were Kellogg's and Post.
Major news from the breakfast world. The Post Cereal Company has reportedly invented a shelf-stable fruit pastry breakfast product.
No.
Yeah.
Boy.
It's Post! They did it!
I'm about to finally crush that big red K that never stops glaring at me!
How do you think Post did it?
There's always a surprise inside the box.
I wonder if they use xanthan gum.
Xanthan.
Kellogg's is entering the race to reinvent breakfast with the help of Steve Schwinn, Chef Boyardee, and Jack LaLanne.
They're stacking the deck with ringers.
Hey, you know Isaiah Lamb from Quaker?
You Kellogg's people.
We're about to have some very powerful people very upset.
You have to win. Are you making any progress?
It's not to scale, but
What are you guys, 5 years old? Little John draws better than that. And I think there's something wrong with him.
nobody said this was gonna be easy.
We're talking about happy childhoods for millions of American kids. The important thing is the name.
Fruit Magoos. What?
No.
Heat 'em up and eat 'em ups.
No sale.
Oblong nibblers.
Is this a joke?
Whoever gets to the shelves first is gonna win this thing.
Give up the tarts, old man!
How did it get this far?
It's breakfast. Things happen.
Isn't this a cereal company? Why did my husband explode?
Starring Jerry Seinfeld, Melissa McCarthy, Jim Gaffigan, and Amy Schumer. This movie is just... You're not going to get smarter from watching this movie, but you sure are going to have a good time. It is about the rivalry between Kellogg and Post in the kind of the space race of creating a toaster, breakfast treat.
Yep.
And it is just, it's almost in the vein of like Naked Gun, like that level of goofiness.
Wow. Okay.
I don't think I've ever seen Jerry Seinfeld in a movie before. Like I've seen him on obviously Seinfeld, but like I don't think I've ever actually seen him acting before. Although a friend of mine corrected me and said, "Oh, he's the voice in Bug's Life or Bee's Life or something like that." Yeah. It was just a treat. I laughed pretty much nonstop. Like I said, you're not going to get smarter from watching this. Although you might leave wanting to eat Pop-Tarts, which I did. I immediately went and bought a box of the brown sugar Pop-Tarts, the best Pop-Tarts. But no, this was a hoot. It's
Does this have any basis in reality?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I really don't think so. And what's really sad is that Rotten Tomatoes has a 43% on the tomato meter and a 51% audience score. Which just makes me so sad because it is, and maybe you're just, maybe it's like me watching Wonka and just taking it too seriously and expecting something else. Like I had zero expectation of this. I knew it was new, and so I wanted to watch that so we could, talk about it on the podcast or write a review for the website. I had no background on it. And I also knew that it was Jerry Seinfeld's directorial debut.
Okay.
And that was it. And I was so happy I did. I highly recommend it. Is it 5 disco balls? No. I'll give it 4 disco balls. It's not a perfect movie. But you can't go in, you can't take it seriously. It's a goofy, slapsticky type of show. It's streaming on Netflix right now. Unfrosted. Critics' consensus, this is sad. Much like a preservative-packed toaster pastry, Unfrosted is sweet and colorful, yet it's ultimately an empty experience that may leave the consumer feeling pangs of regret. Well, think about that next time you have a Pop-Tart. I disagree. I had a grand old time watching this show.
Okay.
Yeah. The performances were outstanding. You can't go wrong when you have the likes of Gaffigan, Melissa McCarthy, Jerry Seinfeld, Amy Schumer. Like, every stand-up comedian that's in Hollywood right now was in this movie. And they crushed it. I even think John Hamm makes an appearance. But again, you can't take this movie seriously. And I feel like that's what the critics' consensus is doing. Yeah.
So, I remember the run up to the release date of this. I have not watched it, but I remember, turning Netflix on my TV, and the first thing that would come up was Unfrosted. Coming in 1 week, and then there was literally a countdown sometimes, like in 2 days, Unfrosted is airing, and I'm like, holy cow, what like this is supposed to be really good if Netflix is pushing it, or at least they dropped a lot of money in it, and they want to get it back. But I didn't watch any trailers. I didn't know what it was about. All I saw was Jerry Seinfeld's face on it.
Yeah.
And I never watched the show, and I shouldn't say I never actively sought out to watch the show, Seinfeld. I would just see like the stand-up skits that he does in the beginning of the show, most episodes.
Sure, yeah.
And some of them were very annoying to me. And I'm like, this guy's just complaining. And that's his...
Yeah.
That's...
He's an acquired taste.
That's how he does comedy, right? Because many comedians complain. And it's funny. Just for him, it was too much on the whiny side of complaining. So I had no interest in watching it. However, then as it got closer to, they started showing, like... I see the movie poster, and they show the other actors in the cast, and I'm like, oh, this is like an ensemble cast. Maybe I should give it a watch. So it is on my queue. I have not watched it. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I mean, if you're going to film films with ensemble cast of comedians, you're going to laugh at some point.
100%.
So, yeah, I guess I look forward to watching it.
This is a good, like, end of the day, you need to just turn your brain off type of film. This is. I highly recommend this. What I give it 4 disco balls. I maintain my 4 disco ball status on this one. So
awesome.
Did we do our 2? Oh, you have one more.
Have one
more.
more.
What's your second round?
So this was a little confusing to me. It kept getting recommended to me on Netflix, and I reluctantly added it. I was like, let me just add it to the queue. It keeps coming up. It's like, oh, you may like, and I'm like, okay, let me just add it. And the show is called Bodkin.
Yeah.
Hi there. Are you Bridget Pierce?
You the podcasters?
Yes, we are. Okay.
I'm a journalist. I'm still consulting on a true crime podcast in the arse end of nowhere.
I've always thought that Ireland was the most beautiful country in the world.
All I see is shit. Fields and fields of shit.
21 years ago, 3 people disappeared.
On the Irish Night of the Dead. Samhain.
So cool. Nice sunglasses.
Off.
We've never even had a serial killer in Ireland. We're a naturally good people.
There's an island of nuns teaching yoga. It just keeps getting better.
We need to find the real Balkan. How things happen here, just like everywhere else.
I hear you're interested in the lads that went missing. I know what happened to them. They were attacked by horses. You should never trust a horse.
You lads seem awful interested in the past. Our lives aren't fodder for your entertainment.
The 3 of you poking around and everything will lead to no good.
We are being threatened. It means there's a story here. This is extremely good news.
This is my podcast. I make the rules.
What did you do?
Whatever happened that night is still important to someone.
I came to Bodkin expecting a simple cold case. What if the cold case isn't cold?
But how do you see me now? Do you lads like a bit of a party?
Well, yeah, sure.
Which I'm pretty sure is the name of I don't know if it's the real name of a real town in Ireland, but it's the name of the show. So the tagline on IMDb is a group of podcasters, which it got my attention after the first episode, right? For obvious reasons. A group of podcasters set out to investigate the mysterious disappearance of 3 strangers in an idyllic Irish town. But when they start to pull the strings, they find a story much bigger and stranger than they could have imagined. So, a lot of people we know, including us, love murder mysteries and whatnot. And, it is basically a podcast told in a episodic TV show form.
Okay.
Dramatized, right? So none of this is real.
Yeah.
This didn't happen. As far as I know, I didn't do my research. But they set up this universe.
Yeah.
Right? This American with his production assistant go to Ireland and they start investigating this, just asking questions around town, and then they get looped in with a reporter from England, I think it was, who happens to be Irish as well. Who gets thrown into the mix reluctantly, and she's like a serious reporter who's like, unraveled, I should say, like done exposés on like corruption and crime and this. So like a really serious reporter. This guy's like a kitschy podcaster that's like, I'm trying to find the next nice thing. So the dynamic is weird in the beginning. We're like, she's very like, cut the crap, let's get to the point of this, and he's like very idyllic and wants to be nice to people and see the good side in everybody and give everybody the benefit of the doubt.
Sure.
That's how it comes across. Will Forte, does great in the show, I think.
Yeah.
He's the biggest name that I know. But all the acting is fantastic. It's like the Irish are natural actors, right? I'm sure they're all professionals, but it just seemed that way. Like the whole town, like the ambiance and everything contributed to the show. The thing I couldn't get past, and now actually Googling it, Netflix messed up, is that when you look up where the age rating is, when you click on the show or whatever, it says comedy. It is not a comedy. If anything, it's a dark comedy at best. But there's almost nothing comedic happening.
Oh, really?
Other than like they're put in very weird situations.
Yeah.
Strange things happen.
Sure.
But it's not like yuck it up comedy.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, oh, it's funny that happened. It's funny that happened. Oh, it's funny that they're in that situation. But nothing like.
Interesting.
So when I Googled it just now, trying to get the stuff, it's billed as I forget what it's billed as. Did I close my browser? I think I closed my browser. I did. Sorry, guys. A thriller. Right. A cheeky, thrilling, and dark. Right. So, Netflix, I don't know what you did there, but fix it. It's not a comedy.
Shame on you.
Put thriller there in the little caption at the top there. I don't want to spoil it for everybody. I haven't finished it, but I'm like 30 minutes in, which is kind of like the wrap up. You find out what happens, and then like sort of like an epilogue. The last like 30 minutes of like, oh, this is how everyone goes their way and whatever the case may be. That's what I foresee happening. Maybe there's a twist that happens at the very end too, but I think like everything has been settled at this point. I liked it. It was definitely quirky. It is definitely a thriller. It is not by any stretch of the means a comedy. Maybe a dark comedy at best, but not a comedy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it better. I mean, if you're.
Yeah.
It's a short series, 7 episodes.
Oh, that's nice. Good.
Right?
Yeah. So you can be in and out.
And yeah, I'm gonna give it. Let's see. I'll give it 4 disco balls.
Ooh, okay. All right. miscategorization aside, you give it 4 disco balls. 72% average tomato meter. 64% audience score on obviously Rotten Tomatoes. They don't have a critics consensus or anything like that, which is too bad. Yeah, I'll give this a watch. It's on my queue. I just haven't really cracked it open just yet. Awesome, man. All right, do you want to take us home?
Sure. All right, folks. Do you want more Geeky a Go-Go? Well, make sure you're following us on all the socials at Geeky Go and share with us what you're watching. Want cool stuff? Want to connect with us on a higher level, like on our Discord channel? Head on over to patreon.com/geekyagogo and support the show. You'll get awesome swag and other perks. If you haven't done so already, make sure you're following the show on your favorite podcast platform and leave us a review. Thanks so much for listening. Peace out, everybody.
Bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. That's Eric.